Hey, what you know about the Idog? Or what's it called, Brad?
You mean the Idog?
All right, Brad, what do you think about this thing?
All right, this is a disc I'm really looking for. I want like something with some overstability, a little more overstable than an FD. This is a negative 0.52. Feels a little gummy, like you can really dig into it.
Yeah, it's that classic Kastaplast plastic that all feels really nice and grippy.
Yeah, I mean, you can see this. It's K1, so not K1 soft. I want this to be like a little flip up. I don't really want it to turn, and I just want it to fade hard at the end. Feels great in my hand, though.
What is actually the deal here, Brad? Because it says on the disc Idog.
Well, one of our friends, shout out Ted from Sweden, he gave me a little crash course in how to say all of the Kastaplast. So this is Idog, and I believe it is like your buddy, like your friends, like nice guys. I think that's what it means.
My Idog.
So, yeah, you my Idog.
I'm gonna keep calling it the Idog, if you don't mind,
fun.
because I think that's very fun. This feels like a nice, like a slightly deeper fairway driver, which I personally like. It's got a little bit of a Thunderbird kind of feel almost, maybe a little bit slower though. Kind of, actually very T-birdy, but yeah, in that really nice Kastaplast plastic. Yeah, I'm just expecting like a straight disc with a consistent fade. Let's see how it flies.
Yeah. Big hyzer made about 250 for me, just what I would expect.
Oh, that was really nice.
That went about 280, kind of right where I would expect the fairway to go for me. I was pointing this out to Connor. It's a little wet out here, and what I like about this K1 is it like gets a little tacky when it gets wet, so I don't feel like it's gonna slip out of my hand. No surprise, really nose up. Still went about 245-ish, but still its integrity was there. I still don't feel like it wanted to crash and burn out with overstability. I'm actually gonna throw a forehand to see how it goes. Now, I don't even need to measure that. I know that went like a little over 200. I really gave that one some hyzer. That's just my forehand release, but overall happy. That's kind of how I'd throw that disc. Just put it on some hyzer, and I want it to crash to the right. I'm not worried about it flipping up, or I'm not throwing a flex line with that fairway. All right, let's see how Connor does.
Hyzer angle is one of my best friends. This disc feels like a really glidey disc. I felt like a really nice pushy hyzer. It didn't pop up, but it just kept on going left and never dumped. I can see this being a pretty great hyzer disc. I felt like that was pretty genuinely a flat shot. It felt really nice. It had like a little bit of that hold straight flip up maybe, but a really consistent, like overstable finish there. I could really see this disc being one that I like. Okay, that was actually really nice. I put that pretty high on a decent bit of anhyzer, and it just held it and panned the whole way. It never fought back out of it, but it also didn't go to the ground and burn. That felt like a really usable shot whenever I need something to hold a left or right angle. It went about 300 on a forehand, and honestly, this disc felt like a really nice forehand disc for me. I don't have a very far forehand, not a very consistent one, so I noticed that it felt like whenever I threw this pretty lightly, it just kind of popped up for me and got that glide, and I feel like I didn't have to put everything behind it, so it might be a really nice forehand addition to my bag. I felt like me and Brad both got kind of a feel for this disc during those throws. Brad, let's take it to a hole that we think we might use it on.
Let's go.
Okay, this hole is a 255-foot hyzer. Considering I was throwing this about 310 on hyzer, I think this is pretty much the perfect hole for it. I'm just gonna throw a hyzer, get the glide, and sit close to the basket, hopefully.
All right, this is a 270 foot. I like the forehand on this hole, so we're gonna try to forehand the Idog.
Oh, go in? Woo! All right, my Idog, what'd you think about the Idog?
I thought the Idog flew really well. I was really impressed. I mean, you never know with flight numbers what you're gonna get, but I would say this is pretty accurate, to be honest with you, which always makes me happy. For me, for my arm.
I feel like that's pretty accurate flight numbers as well, and flight numbers are typically criminal.
I don't feel like I had to give it a ton to keep it straight, which is always nice on forehand or backhand, but it also had the overstability that I really wanted out of this disc at the beginning. So overall, I'm happy. I mean, I think for my arm speed, maybe if you go below my arm speed, you might see the overstability really kind of kick up. I think anyone faster than your arm speed is really going to see a nice, real easy
straight disc.
Straight.
If this was to go in your bag today, where do you think it would fit in?
All right, right now I have a C-line FD, and then I kind of have a gap between that and like a Firebird. And I'm really looking for something. This fits right perfectly in between there. Distance and overstability. that's what I'm looking for. This is what this does for me.
Okay, awesome. I think that this disc is a really good disc. I think it's very comfortable. Fairway drivers are not always super comfortable in my hand. This one's deep enough to feel like I have a good grip on it. It's that Kastaplast plastic that never fails to have grip. We're out here, it's very wet today. The ground is sopping wet. It's extremely humid, so everything's working against this plastic right now. I still felt like I had a very good firm grip on it the whole time.
I didn't worry about grip at all. And like Connor said, there was a couple, I threw a couple times without even toweling it.
Oh yes.
Still tacky, still good. So I trust this in the weather.
This disc is, honestly, if I was playing a round in the rain and I wasn't allowed to have a towel, this disc would be the best one for it, just because this plastic really is very good for that. As a disc, I think it's, for me, really straight with a consistent fade. It wasn't necessarily I wouldn't say an overstable disc. It was pretty stable for me. And if I were to fit this into a slot, it'd probably go maybe a touch more stable than my Passion. I've got a pretty overstable Passion. I think this is either the same as it or maybe has a slightly bit more fade. I would say it has a slight bit more fade to it. But honestly, a disc that I don't really have in my bag and I think would fit in there very well. I think this is a really good disc for somebody who's looking for a fairway disc. A disc that is not ever gonna get squirrely on you. Like it's just gonna be a straight fade, straight fade, straight fade every time.
Yeah, this is a fairway hitter for sure. Yeah. Even for me. If I was putting in a class of discs, I would say this is pretty like easy to shape.
Yeah, for sure.
So anywhere from like, you know, your late beginner to amateur to even someone who's experienced like Connor, you're gonna be able to use this disc for a variety of shots, which I always like. I don't like a disc that's just like one shot in my bag. That has a lot of shots you can throw with it.
Brad, I will say, this plastic feels incredible. But whenever I play rounds, I don't play in an open field. I hit a lot of things. So let's see how this disc flies once we let it get fricked. Oh gosh, this hurts so bad to do, but we have to do it for you. I mean, it's scuffed up, but it's like, it's by no means damaged. It's just got some scratches, some scuffs on it, but it is still feels like a disc that's just nicely seasoned in my bag. What do you think, Brad?
Feels like it's been thrown, which is a good thing. Well seasoned, let's see how it flies.
Yeah, Brad, it seems to me like it pretty much just had maybe a tiny bit more flip up to it, but it by no means changed the flight by a drastic amount.
No, that's like even better in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know that's gonna get more flippy than that unless you really play a lot of rounds with it. So I think it's a disc you can just trust in your bag, and even if it gets a little flippier, it just moves into that slightly flippier spot and it's still gonna be very usable for most people.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this helped you understand the Idog or the Idog a little bit better than you did before. If you wanna pick one up, you can go to foundationdisc.com and please let us know in the comments how you would like us to do these in the future. What's gonna help you understand the disc even more than we showed you today. We're super open to suggestions. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.